Competition. People get upset when they lose, and you can't. Some people say bad things. She told me I have no class, I have no education, and to see what happens when we get outside the U.S. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I beat her in Canada outside the U.S. I beat her in New York outside the U.S. So let's see what else she has to say. Shout out to the haters in that corner over there. They're gone. Where are you? I don't hear you anymore. It's okay. It's okay. No. It's okay. They're gone. I don't hear them anymore. Saying I have no education and no class. I don't really take that personally because I know that it's so far from the truth and so far from anything. And again, if I allow what other people have to say about me affect me in that way, then they win. So ultimately, no. I stood up for myself and I kept in my mind in that moment how I wanted to portray myself and how I wanted to show up. And if my son were to see this interaction, how would he view it? And I think he would be proud of the way that I handled the situation.
So what happened right here? Jelena Ostapenko, a white tennis star, just lost to Taylor Townsend, a Black American tennis star. Instead of showing sportsmanship, she went off saying Taylor has no class. But that wasn't all. She even told Taylor to watch out when they leave the US, which honestly sounded more like a threat than anything else. Now, let's be real. Between the two of them, who really showed no class? If you ask me, it was actually Ostapenko. Taylor, on the other hand, handled the whole thing with grace and maturity. She didn't let herself get dragged into that negativity. And honestly, I respect her so much for that, because if it was me, I don't think I would have reacted as calmly as she did. Taylor really carried herself with class, and that's what makes the whole situation even more powerful. But before we dive into how fans and other players are reacting to this drama, please don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments what you think about this. Now let's get into it, guys.
Disrespect that Taylor Townsend experience is a tale as old as time. There are white people that are shocked that Jelena Ostapenko behaved like that, and there are Black women who were like, that's a Tuesday. White women are like that all the time. They're not just like that when you catch them on camera. They're like that all the time. They cannot handle not being better, even when they actually are not better. You saw how she was like, it's because you're uneducated. What in the fuck does her education level have to do with the fact that she whooped your ass on that field? What does that have to do with anything? On the court, you got schooled. That was all the education she needed. You got to see what her education was like. And the crazy part is, Taylor Townsend was so just well kept together. I don't have that skill. You're not about to yell at me in any fucking capacity, but you about to yell at me after I beat your ass. I am liable to full on fucking laugh. I will laugh till you cry. But to hold it together like that, Taylor, you got skill. You got more skills than Jelena will ever have, okay? She could never hold a candle at all to what you got going. But white women, yeah, that's what y'all look like. That is what y'all look like. Mm-hmm.
So let's break this all the way down. So Taylor Townsend just beat Jelena Ostapenko in straight sets at the US Open yesterday. And instead of shaking hands like a professional, Ostapenko walks up and says, you have no class, no education. Let's see what happens when we play outside the United States. So while she's saying this, she's literally pointing at Taylor's face and jabbing her finger down toward her like she's trying to shrink her, put her in her place. That's not just disrespect, it's intimidation. It's visual domination. And when it's done to a Black woman on a world stage, it's not just personal, it's political. Telling a Black woman she has no education is not random. That's a dog whistle. It's the same rhetoric that's been weaponized for centuries to strip Black women of our intellect, our value, our place. And it's always used when we win, when we disrupt the narrative, when we dare to take up space. And no class, another tired line meant to shame us when we don't smile and shrink. Townsend didn't gloat. She didn't disrespect anyone. She won. And suddenly that's a problem. So then when she says, let's see what happens when we play outside the United States, what are you really saying? That she only wins because of some imagined home court advantage? Or is it a warning that outside the United States, a Black woman like Townsend will get put back in her place? That's not a tennis critique. That's racialized language. That's veiled aggression. And in that moment, pointing in her face, speaking down to her, dripping with entitlement, it wasn't just about losing a match. It was about punishing a Black woman for daring to be excellent in a space that wasn't built for her. And through all of that, Townsend stood tall and said, I'll let my racket talk. That is grace. That's composure. That is what real class looks like. Now, I want to see that same professionalism from the United States Tennis Association and the U.S. Open leadership. Ostapenko should be fined. There needs to be disciplinary action because when Black athletes are met with hostility, verbal or physical, and nothing is done, the message is clear. You're going to protect the game, but not the people in it. If the roles were reversed, if this behavior had been directed at a white player, it wouldn't even be up for debate. It would be action, immediate and loud. Racism in sports doesn't always show up in slurs. Sometimes it's in the tone, the words, the body language, the finger in the face, the need to diminish and dominate. And if the tennis world stays silent now, you're telling Black athletes exactly where you stand.
When I say I'm super proud of how Taylor handled herself after that match with, I don't know if her name is Helena, Jelena, whatever, how she handled that match with her and she won and she went to go shake her hand and the girl has the audacity to call her uneducated and classless. What? You just lost. And this ain't your first time losing against her. This is a many times of you losing against her. But it's also crazy that you're known for being a sore loser. You're known for that. Like, if anything, get your weight up, come back and try to win against her. But to talk trash and you lost? Like, you gotta be so butthurt to call a person uneducated for a tennis match. What does my education have to do with this current tennis match that you couldn't beat me in? You couldn't win. But it shows your character. It shows that you're a sore loser. And that's all that you've been hearing about that girl, is that she's a sore loser. I'm so proud of how Taylor handled herself. She spoke up. She didn't even use the race card and say that old girl intent was racist. She said, I don't know what her intent was, but I know she lost. And we all know that. You lost real bad. You looked real bad. They need to give you some coaching skills on how not to be a sore loser. It's one thing to talk trash when y'all are playing or whatever the case, but after you done lost, girl, you ain't got no.
And to the loser who told Taylor Thompson that she has no education, no class, and to wait to see what happens outside the USA, we all outside. What's up? What's up? You need that? Do you want that? Because we'll give you that. Y'all cannot stand to lose to a Black woman. It just fucks with your whole entire ego to lose to a Black woman. Why don't you get in the field? Go to school. Get your education, because you clearly don't know what to do with that racket. Like Nicki Minaj said, it is not cool to be a loser. Go to school. Figure out what to do, because clearly you don't know. The minute a Black woman supersedes y'all immediately tag education and class. I know your ancestors tried to keep us uneducated, but unfortunately, that's not the case. We're the most educated. Do your research. That lady that lost Coco Golf tried to do the same exact shit. Now, why don't you go look at their film, student, and learn from the teacher? Maybe you won't be a loser. Good morning.
That woman, Taylor Townsend, said she's packed up and she's gone. That's a bar. I need that tatted on my right thigh immediately.
Hey, y'all, just come through right quick. Listen, do y'all know Taylor Townsend? Yes, she is the black tennis player who has won in the U.S. Open, y'all. She was attacked by her opponent the other day, verbally attacked, okay? So basically, the opponent was saying that she was classless, she was uneducated, and I guess she wouldn't be able to win outside the USA. So that has gone viral. People attack the other opponent. I'm not going to call her name, but y'all go look her up. But she was in a rage out there on that tennis court, y'all. If that had been the other way, if it had been Taylor attacking that white European after a match, y'all know it would have went different. Taylor probably would have got fined. Taylor would have probably got put off the tennis tour and all of that, y'all. So this is blatant. You know what? To me, although the opponent came out and said it wasn't, but why would you say that somebody is uneducated or classless? Why? Let me know. Comment, share, and follow.
I'm not gonna lie, white people love to say that they're not racist, but y'all show it every time black people are better than you. Every time a black person cannot stand out without a white person trying to dim their light. We can't have nothing. We can't have nothing, bro. We can't have nothing. It's always gotta be an issue. And then the crazy part is they bait us so bad to where we get out of character. Now we the bad guys. Like that tennis match thing with Taylor, that's uncalled for. Just be mad you lost. You lost.
Taylor Townsend's win last night is just another example of how the old guard in tennis still upholds the same exclusionary and sometimes racist values that it was built upon. We did an entire deep dive on our Substack, so definitely check out the link in bio, really about the entire shift that has happened with the tennis old guard versus this new era, just ushering such a diverse audience and allowing tennis to be way more accessible because of names like Taylor Townsend. It's just so frustrating though, because she is absolutely going to become a way bigger celebrity because of this, but so frustrating because it has to come at conflict versus just how she played the game, which was incredible, by the way, and instead come because she was faced with microaggressions after the game, being called uneducated, saying she's not following the rules of tennis, which essentially is just racism. She handled it beautifully and with so much grace, but it's so unfortunate that she had to even face those types of questions instead of talking about her game. And unfortunately, history just repeats itself. We did a deep dive and really included a lot of the information around Maria Sharapova and Serena Williams because all of this has happened again and it continues to happen constantly, which again is so frustrating because as tennis has become so much more accessible and the US Open is honestly a cultural moment in America at this point, that you'd hope that the rules and the culture around it shifts too. And it has in some degree, but I don't know if it's really been happening from within and more of an external force. But let's also raise a glass to Taylor Townsend. Icon status because she dropped a dump on Instagram today and made it to the instrumental of Nuck If You Buck. And to be honest, I don't know what is more iconic than that. So absolutely love you, Tay-Tay, and can't wait to see her career skyrocket from here because she deserves every last bit of it.
I actually spoke to Alona after the match, but during our conversation, I didn't know what happened. And well, I have to say that she's nice, you know, she just sometimes can lose control, and she has some things in life to face and some struggles. So I was just trying to help her to, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, just not like face it more in mature way, but I was just trying to help her to like settle down and kind of like just was someone she could speak to and just let it go, you know. I think she just sometimes can just lose control over her emotions, which pretty tough, and I really hope that one day she will figure it herself and she will handle it much better.
You know what's really funny? People would do things like this, throw insults, make threats, disrespect someone just because they lost, and then tomorrow they will turn around and say, "Oh, I'm not racist. Oh, I'm not racist." But the truth is, your character speaks louder than your words. And in Ostapenko's case, everything about her behavior in that moment screamed entitlement and racism. And let's not act like this is new. People are already pulling up other clips of her, and the pattern is clear. She's always been like this. Instead of owning up to a loss like a professional, she lashes out. But here is the gag. When you keep doing this over and over and over again, the world sees you for what you really are. So I'm glad Taylor kept her composure, because in the end, she exposed who really had no class without even saying a word. Anyway, guys, that's all from me today. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think Ostapenko crossed the line? Actually, she did, but I'm just asking. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel even more, hit that membership button for exclusive perks. I will see you in the next one. Bye.